Have you ever heard of a place where the government chooses your hairstyle, or where women can be taken into a pleasure squad?
This is the dark side of North Korea.
Number 1. Believe it or not, North Korea is the only country in the world with necrocracy, or ruled by a dead man. North Korea's founding father, Kim Il-sung, ruled from 1948 to his death in 1994. By the time he passed away, North Koreans had essentially worshipped him as a god. His body remains on display for people to see in a mausoleum. His position was left empty until 1998 when a constitution was amended to abolish the position of President of North Korea. This means that Kim Il-sung will be the eternal president of North Korea, or eternal leader, while his successor, Kim Jong-il, did not receive the title of president. He is merely the Presidium of the Supreme People's Assembly. Number 2. Are you planning to have a baby in North Korea? Then read this rule before you do. People cannot name their kids after supreme leaders. North Koreans can't use the names Kim Jong-un, Kim Jong-il, or Kim Il-sung, according to a directive in 2011 from the supreme leader himself. Even people who already share the same name are ordered to change it. The name is to build cults of personality around the Kims, along with why their birthdays are national holidays. Number 3. North Korea's supreme leaders are known for their propaganda, and some of the most bizarre ones were around the second supreme leader, Kim Jong-il. There are many rumors about Kim Jong-il's amazing feats. It is said that when he was born, a double rainbow appeared. Pear and apricot trees mysteriously came into bloom, and the sky was so bright that a halo of light illuminated the secret guerrilla camp where he was born. Some say that when he played golf for the first time, he shot 11 holes in one and scored the best round in a professional event. Their propaganda also said that his birthday is celebrated all over the world and that he was a global fashion superstar with his khaki pantsuits. Number 4. Is your birthday in late December? Then you won't be able to celebrate it in North Korea. The country has imposed a ban of no laughing, drinking, shopping, or any form of celebration for 11 days. It is because that is the day that Supreme Leader Kim Jong-il died, so the country shall be in a mourning period. It is said that if a resident breaks the rule, they will be taken and arrested as ideological criminals. These people will never be seen again by the public. You're also not allowed to mourn your loved ones during this period. So if anyone in your family dies, you're not allowed to cry out loud, and the body should be taken out quietly after it's over. Number 5. Unlike other countries that only require men for mandatory military service, North Korea applies it to women as well. The country applies this regulation to strengthen the armed forces, and women between the ages of 17 and 20 are required to join. Women are not required to serve as long as men, and men are only required to serve until the age of 23. Men, on the other hand, are required to serve for 10 years. Sadly, women in the military have not fared well in North Korea. Most women face sexual assaults, brutal physical punishments, forced abortions, and a lack of feminine hygiene products. If the women report, they will be threatened with jail time or have their future opportunities blocked by their supervisors. Number 6. There's another thing that the Supreme Leader of North Korea owns that no one else does: his own pleasure squad. This was revealed by Yeonmi Park, a North Korean defector who is now living in the United States. According to Yeonmi, these women exist solely to pleasure and entertain Kim Jong-un. She said that the leader selects 25 young virgin women annually and sends them to the pleasure squad. It's said that the squad currently has over 2,000 members that are ready to serve and entertain North Korean rulers. North Korean parents reportedly consent when their children join the pleasure squad. This is mainly to avoid any persecution from the North Korean authority and to ensure the young women have a better life. By being a member of the pleasure squad, they don't need to suffer from starvation and have more chances to survive in the country. The squad is separated into 3 different groups. One group learns massage techniques. Another focuses on singing and dancing for Kim Jong-un and his inner circle. And lastly, a pleasure activities division. The most beautiful young women will be reserved for Kim Jong-un, while others are assigned to military officers and politicians. Finally, when they're in their 20s, they will retire and marry off to one of the leader's bodyguards. Number 7. If you're a successful filmmaker, you might want to watch your steps or you could be the next Shin Sang-ok. Shin Sang-ok is a famous movie director from South Korea who was kidnapped to create a giant monster movie in North Korea. It all started when Sang-ok's ex-wife, Choi En-hee, a South Korean actress, was kidnapped by Kim Jong-il in China and forced to make movies there. Because Sang-ok was worried when he was unable to contact Eun-hee, he ventured into Hong Kong to try to find her. The director was then also captured by the dictator and shipped to North Korea. The director and actress were forced to make numerous propaganda movies during this time, including the famous kaiju film Pulgasari. It wasn't until the two were sent to Australia to attend a meeting that they managed to get away from their North Korean bodyguards and escape to the United States Embassy. They now live in the United States. Number 8. North Korea has been ruled by the Kim family for over 75 years since 1948. The country was first ruled by the Japanese, then overtaken by the Soviets to undergo the Stalinist revolution. In the aftermath of World War II, Kim Il-sung took over the country and became the first supreme leader. And now, the current supreme leader is Kim Il-sung's grandson, Kim Jong-un. Kim Jong-un has expressed his plans to groom his daughter to become his heir apparent, even though she's only 9 or 10 years old. It seems that the hereditary power transition will still keep going for an extended period. Number 9. If you move to North Korea, you never have to think about which haircut to get anymore. That's right. The country is so restrictive that it published 28 allowed haircuts that the public can choose from. Women can choose from 14 available haircuts. Men and women are told to keep their hair short, while single ladies can get longer and curlier locks. Men get the other 14 haircut options, and younger men are required to keep their hair shorter than 5 centimeters, while older men can have hair as long as 7 centimeters. Before you choose to pick the same haircut as the supreme leader, think again. It turns out that Kim Jong-un has decided to keep the haircut to himself and not allow anyone to copy it. Number 10. North Korea is obsessed with keeping up appearances with South Korea, which is why they built a fake propaganda village named Kijongdong. After the Korean War, both the parties agreed that they will have a demilitarized zone or DMZ. Every village across the narrow land would be dismantled, excluding one village that each country can hold on to. South Korea kept Daesongdong, and North Korea decided to build a brand new village called Kaesongdong. Kaesongdong has schools, a kindergarten, a child care center, a hospital, and more than 200 residents. Or so they said. It turns out the village is empty, with only a few caretakers who sweep the streets occasionally. The town is kept impeccable and well lit as if to show it is a normal place. The main objective of keeping Kaesongdong is to portray a first world veneer and entice South Koreans to defect to their country. Number 11. The DMZ, or the Demilitarized Zone between North and South Korea, is one of the most weaponized and dangerous areas in the world. The DMZ is a 2.5 miles band, 150 miles long that divides the peninsula since the end of the Korean War in 1953. The DMZ has scores of mines and barbed wire fences and is a nightmare to cross, which is what soldier defectors should cross when they want to escape to South Korea. The area had an interesting history. In August 1976, North Korean soldiers attacked a group of South Korean and U.S. soldiers who were pruning a popular tree near the demarcation line. The North Koreans killed 2 Americans with axes and wounded several others. The vicious attack changed the neutral area into the now heavy militarized demarcation line. Want to know another fun fact about the incident? One of the South Korean soldiers who survived was Moon Jae-in, a former president of South Korea. Number 12. If you're complaining about your paycheck, you should try receiving a North Korean salary. The average North Korean worker earns a monthly salary of only $4, which won't even buy a pack of cigarettes that cost $5 in the country. That's why many North Koreans have side jobs to make ends meet. Ordinary people in North Korea are unable to buy luxury goods such as cigarettes or alcohol. They can only stick to primary needs such as rice. Number 13. While his people are suffering with merely $4 per month, their supreme leader Kim Jong-un is experiencing an extravagant life. It is said that Kim Jong-un owns private islands, palaces, and a harem of thousands of women. The leader is estimated to be worth $5 billion, and he splurges it on vehicles, property, and culinary delights. Kim owns 17 palaces scattered all over North Korea, including one with an airstrip for his private jet. His Pyongyang residence is nuclear-proof and has a train station underneath with tunnels connecting to his other properties. One of his properties in Wonsan has its own sports stadium. The Kim family also owns a luxury train with 90 carriages with bedrooms and conference rooms. One of his most shocking purchases is the £2.7 million worth of sexy lingerie he bought for his harem of ladies. Number 14. One unique place in North Korea is the Rugong Hotel in Pyongyang. The hotel is one of the tallest unoccupied buildings in the world at 1,080 feet. That's right, this is the hotel that never sees a guest. The construction of the building started in 1987, but it stopped due to economic troubles. The Rugong Hotel reached its full height in 1992, but the inside was never finished. It still stood tall with 105 stories, but it never managed to host a single guest. Number 15. Did you know that North Korea has a fast food chain? Oddly enough, the founder is not Kim Jong-un. They're two Singaporean businessmen who decided to seize the market and create the Hermit Kingdom's first fast food restaurant. The first branch was opened in 2009, and the owners decided to call it Samtaesong for 3 big stars. Now the business has 5 large dine-in eateries and 20 takeaway outlets across Pyongyang City. The menu is very typical: fried chicken, waffles, and burgers with a bit of kimchi on the side. The business is difficult to maintain as the owners always face issues due to the country's policies. For example, difficult to acquire raw materials due to political tension, and also when 2 of the owners' bank accounts were abruptly closed by DBS Bank for undisclosed reasons. Number 16. North Korea is well known for its political and prison camps. There are 2 large-scale facilities, Kwanli-so and Kiawaso. The country has 4 political prison camps and 20 prison labor camps. Kim Il-sung modeled the camps after the Russian gulags, and it's estimated that over 120,000 people are currently living within the Sion camp walls. Some North Koreans are taken to these prisons merely due to exercising freedom of speech or not voting in elections. When they're taken, these prisoners are tortured, starved, punished, and executed. Some prisoners were told to dig their graves to make their jobs simpler for the prison guards. Hungry prisoners sometimes resort to eating anything available: rodents, bugs, tree barks, grass, or lizards. Sadly, if they're caught by guards when eating these animals, they'll also be beaten or killed. Many humanitarian organizations are now protesting for better treatment for the people of North Korea. Number 17. It's not just people in prison who are starving. According to a well-known North Korean defector, Young-mi Park, she had to eat insects to survive the regime. Another woman who lived in Pyongyang said 3 of her family members starved to death at home. Most of the population even resorted to killing themselves or disappearing into the mountain to die due to starvation. Number 18. Despite rumors, it turns out North Korea has an internet connection, but this privilege is only reserved for the few thousand who are close to the regime. When you want to get online, you will need to submit days-long approval to the government. After you gain access, you will be monitored every 5 minutes. Even then, the information you can access is very limited and hand-picked by the government. Smartphones exist in North Korea, but with a highly monitored system. The phones have very low speed data, and devices will capture screenshots of what you're doing every few minutes. Number 19. North Korea has TV stations, but the government holds tight control over all the channels of media such as TV and radio. For example, Korean Central Television is a state-run TV channel that has news, documentaries, and other programs with the sole purpose of praising the supreme leaders. Aside from that, it also has revolutionary dramas, operas, and other entertainments. When you buy a TV set or radio, you are required to be pre-tuned to government stations and radios and register everything with the police. Number 20. Many North Korean media boast that they have free healthcare. But is this true? Something free doesn't necessarily mean it's available and good quality. For instance, North Korean hospitals are largely empty with no electricity or heaters. Some witnesses also recalled doctors using flashlights when performing surgeries. If a patient is wealthier, they can pay for firewood to keep their hospital room warm. It may be free for you to consult the hospital, but if you need further treatments, you will be charged. Patients will have to pay for everything in hospitals: drugs, doctors, surgery rooms. One patient even went into surgery without anesthetics to save their money. Number 21. Another interesting fact about North Korea is its relationship with cycling. The activity was banned until 1990, and it was seen as incompatible with their traffic. After the ban was lifted, each family in North Korea now has 1 to 2 bicycles. Women were also banned from riding bicycles until 2012 because it seemed as immodest and unfeminine. The city of Pyongyang even has dedicated cycle paths to protect pedestrians. The North Korean government also requires people to have a riding license that can be obtained only after they pass an exam. If you're caught riding without one, you will be asked to pay a fine. Number 23. Because North Korea still claims to be a democratic one, they're bound to hold elections. But North Korea has the world's most pointless election. Each ballot lists only one candidate in each district, forcing people to choose a candidate that's already been selected by Kim's party. People are also required to vote. Their elections have averaged around 99% of turnout with a 100% approval rate for candidates. Because if you abstain from voting, your family will be in trouble. Abstaining or voting no are considered to be acts of treason. Number 23. We all know that North Korea boasts ownership of nuclear weapons. Previously, the country joined NPT as a non-nuclear weapon state. But then they withdrew in 2003 and decided to create nuclear weapons. The country is estimated to have 45 to 55 warheads in January 2022. They operate a 5-megawatt heavy war graphite moderated reactor to extract plutonium from its nuclear warhead. The country has continued to issue warnings toward Washington and Seoul by testing a string of nuclear-capable missiles. Number 24. Another mystery in North Korea is the case of Kim Jong-nam. Many thought that Kim Jong-un was not the first choice as the third supreme leader. Kim Jong-nam is Kim Il-sung's eldest son. But his birth was hidden from the public and Kim Il-sung because he was conceived out of marriage. He was sent to Moscow for schooling but returned to Pyongyang to help create the closed internet system in North Korea. He despised North Korea's regime and believed that it could be governed more liberally. He finally fell out with North Korea when he was caught using a fake passport to enter Japan to go and visit the Disneyland theme park. After his father Kim Jong-il died and Kim Jong-un took over reign, many said that he feared for his safety. His worry became a reality when he was murdered in Malaysia by 2 women using toxic VX nerve agent. It was believed that Kim Jong-un orchestrated the murder as he sees his older brother as a threat to his regime. From necrocracy to starvation, North Korea is never short of controversies. Despite its downsides, let's hope that someday the people of North Korea will gain something that we all have taken for granted: freedom.